Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. It is time to draw a new thing, which is always both exciting and terrifying. So I'm gonna start with my neutral gray, and then I guess to explain the story of this one a little bit, I put up a thing on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube asking, hey, put down a VTuber, a kind of a mood or feeling, and a location, and I'll randomize the results and draw something based on that. I only got one reply, so I'm basically gonna be drawing his entire request, which was Chibidoki, deep in the forest, and depressed. And so thank you for humoring me, Lagger. So I'll go ahead and draw that, and so that's gonna be interesting because I've never watched Chibidoki, but just from what I know of her via cultural osmosis, depression is possibly the last one I would have picked for her. So I spent a little bit of time just roaming her wiki to see, okay, what would make her depressed? And you know, once I knew that she was the one being picked here, I was like, okay, this is probably gonna lean more towards a meme than actual, like, sadness. So I roamed a wiki for a second, and I was like, oh, well, this is easy. So we're gonna draw deep in the forest, and the forest creatures are stealing all of her hamburgers. That's what I'm rolling with. So I am most familiar with the gremlin models. That's the one that I'm going to be basing this on. I will attempt to draw a chibi here. It's been a really, really long time since I've attempted it. Every time I try, I never think they're cute enough, so we'll use that as a little challenge. And I got this bigger one here just for if I can't make out a particular design in the chibi model to kind of help me out here. They're a little different, but I was like, you know, this is probably about as close as I'll get. These ones looked the most similar, so I just grabbed this one in case I got stuck. Alright. So I was gonna start with the head, but I think I might actually start with some trees. I'm just thinking about how I want to compose this. And of course, thinking requires a bit of pausing, so sure, let's get some trees here. I already kind of know what I want to do there, but it has been a while since I've drawn this kind of view, so okay. I'm go back to drawing kind of the head first. I want to kind of feel where she is on the ground and then draw the trees around that. It's a little bit of a catch-22 of figuring out, okay, I want the head to be doing this kind of thing, and I want the trees to be doing this kind of thing, and they're all based on each other. So what do I draw first? But I think it'll be easier to draw the head first. She, like, has no chin. Even in her normal, vaguely more correctly proportioned art, there's, like, no chin. So, okay. We do less chin. There's gonna be a little bit of chin, but just because ultimately I am drawing this like me, as opposed to how the artists that drew her, but I want to get a little closer. It would be nice to be able to draw chibis someday if I want to. Like I said, I have tried in the past. I've just never really felt like they were cute enough. Something was missing, so let's see if I can make this, like, super cute. Okay, so her head's gonna be, like, tilting backwards. So you'll probably see the underside of her, like, little non-existent chin there. I'll go put just a little shadow on it just to help me visualize. So let's go pick a lovely shadow color. Yeah, I think that color's good. And I'll just kind of get that kind of feeling in there. It helps me, so I will roll with it. And I think kind of a bright shadow like this suits her, so I will roll with it. Or at least I hope it does. Like I said, I don't watch Chibidoki, so I'm kind of guessing here. Okay, and then I just want a dark shadow so that this way I know where to put her neck and stuff. I just find it a little bit easier. Although she doesn't really have a neck either. Like, man. Super deformed proportions, man. So, even on this one, her shoulders are narrower than her head. And of course, on Chibi's, of course they're going to be, because she's like literally 2 heads tall. I gotta stop worrying so much about this stuff when I'm drawing something like this. No wonder my Chibis never turn out cute. Okay. Neck. And then I want to go back to this color because I think it's a nicer color. So how do you draw arms going above the head? I guess I'll just do it kind of like this. Even that might be a little long, but I'll leave it like this for now, and we'll have a little baby hand just reaching up there. And just a sad little flail. I'm not, even though this pose is pretty symmetrical, I'm not going to bring in symmetry for it. And then my other question is, how am I going to do my perspective dance here? How do you make chibi legs like extra large? I actually wasn't initially planning on putting legs in, but maybe I should. Oh, whatever. I'll draw a hint of a leg here. There we go. Hint of a leg. Okay. I drew off screen. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Okay. So like I said, at this point I still only kind of know where I'm going. Only kinda. So I think at the angle that I want to go for here, we're going to see a little bit more of the underside of her head and her chin, the non-existent chin. So I'm going to kind of have to figure out that kind of thing, but this is kind of close. I'll probably make her arms a little bit more prominent there, but yeah, no, something in this area. I'm gonna give her a face, just again to help me with perspective. So let's start with some eyelashes. It looks like hers are just solid black there. Just a little bit of extra color tapering into the edges here. I'll probably still go with what I like to do and make them a very dark pink, but I am just trying to observe what I see as best I can. And you know, I've never actually drawn those kinds of eyebrows. I am terrified. All right, let's go. So this kind of round square shape. And yes, I would call it a rounded square. So we'll start there for now, and I want this eye to be a little bit higher. Non-existent chin is in fact massive, so I think I want it to be a little bit bigger too, a little bit wider. There we go. I have no idea what I'm doing, even less than usual. But let's see if I can draw something adorable here. I've always considered myself, when it comes to anime girls here, better at the cool end of the spectrum than the cute end of the spectrum. So, again, this will be interesting. Do I give her a nose? I guess. Well, I'll just plop it right there. And then just the saddest little face here. Definitely open mouth. Okay, and some eyebrows to kind of help it out. I'm just grouping all my layers and stuff too, because I have a particular way I like to do that. This is not nearly exaggerated enough right now, but it's a start, so I'll call it good. And eventually I'll just start grouping everything together. Let's see. I kind of want to adjust the shape of the head a little bit, but I think before I go do too much more with the character here, I am going to go ahead and draw some trees. Because I think it'll also help me figure out the kind of perspective I'm going for. I think her body might also be too big. Feels weird to say, considering what I just drew here, but yes. I think her body might be too big. Okay. So, trees time. What color do I want the trees to be? Probably some kind of dark brown. If we're going for depression mood, even if it's meme depression, I still want to keep the colors kind of dark. Kind of dark and cool. Yes, so definitely in the realm of blues at some point. That doesn't mean that the tree I draw here is going to be in the realm of blues, just because, I don't know, I think browns are better in the realm of red and orange, but I'm just kind of plotting out my composition here. So I get the feeling I'll be making the background color fairly quickly, as opposed to the neutral gray that I generally start with. Okay. I think I'm gonna keep things easy on myself. I'm gonna grab the line tool with a nice, big, thick line here. And I'm just going to draw straight down. This will not look like what I want to do yet, but that's where perspective transform comes in. And thus, tree. It's magical. It's how I cast some of my black art-related magic. I don't want this to be like as straight up and down as it is, so I'm gonna tilt this a little bit more. And then the other question is, do I want to be able to see the top of the tree? And I think the answer is yes. So I need to push this down a bit. There we go. Okay. That does look about right to my eyes. And then at some point it'll get like pine needles and tree things and branches. And all those other things that'll make it look more like a tree. But I think this is already showing what I'm going for. I think I want to make the bottom a little thicker. Top a little thinner. We're going to make it a little bit more extreme. If it's one thing I remember about the 90s is that everything had to be extreme. So here we go. Okay. So let's get a few more trees in there, and I'll just make them all like that for now. Make this one a little bit thicker. Oh, I have a brush right now. That's fine. There we go. That's going to be a big tree. Really big tree. We're gonna confuse the heck out of the poor perspective guidelines. You can kind of see one up there. I think I can actually just drag that around. Whee! You know, I had never actually played with that before, and I think I broke it. So, hold on. I hit escape! Why are you still trying to transform it, Krita? I'm sorry for messing with you. That was perhaps a little rude. Man, she looks way too happy right now. It's okay. I will figure out the correct way to draw the saddest face ever a little bit later. And then I have to decide what I want to do with the eyes, because I know, again, through just general cultural osmosis, that oftentimes her eyes are not going in the same direction. But I'm not sure if that would contribute to making her look sad, is the thing. Okay. But now my transform tools are back, so I'll be able to figure that out in a little while. Alright, I'll let this one go off screen a little. Let's see, I'm gonna make it a little bit longer here. There we go. This is just gonna be a big tree. This one's like near her. Okay. So now I want to get some that are a little further in the background, so I'll go ahead and pick a slightly darker brown here just to differentiate them. I can change the colors at any point, so it's fine. So I'll use a thinner brush this time. Let me see. I also kind of want to... remember what I'm going for here. Sometimes seeing it is incredibly useful. Okay. Okay. Yep, found pretty much exactly what I'm going for. So let's see, where's the point that I kind of want them all to converge? I guess it's not exactly what I'm going for. Like, when I initially think of worm's eye view in a forest, I generally think of, like, the trees converging in one spot, and it's like, oh, trees, and they do stuff like this. And you get some bigger trees and some smaller ones, and they're all here doing tree-like things like this. That's not quite what I was going for here, but it's pretty dang close, so basically I just kind of think like trees in that pattern look a little bit too pleasant, so I wanted the point where they all converge to maybe just be a little bit off screen. So somewhere up here, this does mean that I probably do want some kind of aiming out this way and, you know, that kind of thing. It's okay. I'm just kind of feeling it out still. That is always how I start a new picture. I gotta spend some time just feeling it out. Alright, let's see what I can do with this one. Although, I don't know, maybe I should just use the more conventional pattern. It might make more sense. I'm gonna think about that for a second. You know, the best part is, I don't really have to change anything to do it. All I have to do is move the trees that I've already drawn a little bit lower down. So, like, if I were to do that more conventional pattern, it would be a little bit more like this. And then I just draw a point here. We'll break out the hot pink, and I'd say that they all center like around this point or something. And adjust accordingly. You know what? I think I like it. So I want it just like a little bit above her head. All right, trees. We're changing direction a little. Don't worry about it. Okay. Just having to be quiet for a little bit while I figure out what is it that I am trying to do here. But yeah, I think I like this. So I'll set him just like a little bit more over here, and maybe this one that I'm working on now will be a little bit lower. Oh, I accidentally put you on the same layer. Oops. Definitely should not have done that. You don't quite overlap, right? Oh. I'm saved. Okay. There is no hot pink on my tree. Hot pink definitely does not belong on trees. Oh, when did I group you? Okay. I do not remember that happening. In that case, since I already have a group, I'm just gonna put each tree on a separate layer for now so that this way I can move them around as I please. This is gonna be tree vanishing point. I'm not gonna do a whole lot of technical perspective here. I don't think it needs it. But nonetheless. It needs a little bit when you're doing perspective-y stuff. And I'm trying to get rid of all the off-screen excess here, because I don't really want to crop the whole image right now, if I can help it. There we go. So I'll let you kind of be over here a little bit more, and all the trees will just kind of start converging around here. They can all be different heights and widths, and you just be doing all kinds of tree-like things. And as I just I keep drawing more and more trees, it'll look more and more like the deep woods. Oops. And I could probably just draw some basic lines. That might honestly be easier than what I'm doing here and just get everything down quickly. But, well, here we are. It's fine. I probably will switch to that pretty soon, though, just because I think doing it like this is, maybe a little bit counterproductive. Until I'm more ready to get into the finalized version. Yeah, I think at this stage it's just more important to get the gist down. Go back in Treeland. Alright. So I'm just freehand the rest of the trees here. And I will make them look nice a bit later. And then I'm gonna want some more, like, overlapping and doing stuff like that, which is not really happening right now. So it does make things look a little bit unnatural at the moment. But I think that this shows the idea well enough, and then I'll draw the rest of the trees proper at some point. At some point in the future. Okay. What kind of sky color do I want? There's lots of different ways I could go for this. So what I think I kind of want is I want some kind of moonlight. Because moons are cool. And lead well to sad atmosphere than a bright sun filtering through the leaves. So we're gonna have a bright moon filtering through the leaves instead. I think I'm gonna put it kind of in the blues here, but it's gonna be very light, so it's not gonna look super blue, and I want it to be a cold blue and not kind of a nice light cyan or something. And I think I want it to be a little off-center. I'm gonna get rid of the tree vanishing point for now. I'm gonna plop the moon, like, right there, I think. And just for my own reference, I'm gonna scribble some leaves. I think pine forests are a little spookier than deciduous forests. So I'm gonna make them pine leaves. So let's get a nice dark green. I'll move it a little bit more toward blue. This is gonna be a very blue composition. And I'm just gonna scribble. Oh yeah, look at that scribbling. Those are leaves. Just squint and believe me for now. Oh yeah, so leaf-like. Heck yeah. Fully embracing a toddler's drawing sketch. Honestly, for this character, it might actually be fine, but I want to draw something a little bit nicer than that. I'm only going maybe 20% meme here. Honestly, sometimes I feel like as a person, I'm a little bit too serious to do Chibi here. Proper justice and suit her content type, but that's okay. Alright, and then again, just for the sake of what I'm trying to do here, I want these all to be later. Because they're going to be kind of out toward the moon. And then I'll make it rim lighty. This is probably the worst way to do this, but all of this is going to be erased. So I don't care. It's fine. Okay, and then just, again, for my own reference and checking composition, I'm going to go and the bottom here in shadow. That is perfect. And I'm just going to do it with the airbrush, even though I do not intend to be using the airbrush for the final version. It's fine. It'll just make it less likely to bother me as I work. But, yeah, there we go. Man, right now she just looks so happy. I almost feel bad that I'm going to be destroying it all. I can see it. Anyway. Let's see. I want to pick a background color. I think I'm just going to hue saturation this as opposed to trying to pick something. Then we're going to bring it really dark here. And I think I'm going to have to move the moon around a little bit, but... So definitely into blues. I think somewhere around here should work, and then I can just make the top part like a little bit brighter by the moon here. Just like boop. Yes. Okay. Let the moon peek through a little bit more. And strictly speaking, I probably do want a tree covering her, but I actually don't know how to work that out. I'll think about that. I might actually not. Worm's eye view, huh? Yeah, it might actually be better to do like some grass or something. Alright, well, I'm go back to working on the character for a bit. I think this is fine for proof of concept for the background. And I'm gonna give her some hair. Oh boy. I still feel like the body is really, really big relative to the head, though. It's like it is a bit of an extreme perspective, but this is also a bit of an extreme proportion. The nature of chibis. So let's make it bigger. I don't know. I think I can make it work. All right. So I'm just trying to get the general flow of the hair here, and I want to make sure that it fits the perspective that I have in my head. So we're not going to see a lot of the top of her head, and I think the little ahoge there is going to be kind of on the back of her head at this point. So we won't see the top of it. Oh yeah, and I can't give her eyebrows like that. What am I doing? Whatever. I'll redraw them later. She's got those little stub eyebrows. And those horns are actually going to be quite useful for perspective shenanigans, so I will add them as well soon. Okay. So this kind of goes down to the edge of the eye there, so I think that's about right. And then we got something going down to like the bottom of her non-existent chin. Let me zoom in on that just a little. There's like 3 strands come in here? Yeah, okay. So I can kind of do what I want, it's fine. Right now, she still just looks way too happy. So I'm gonna have to fix that. And there's like a little bit more space right here, so I don't have the angle of this strand quite right. There we go. I don't need to worry about it that much, but I want to worry about it a little. Anime hair is one area where it's like, it's really useful for figuring out perspective and stuff. I think I probably have her eyes a little bit too low, actually. Size feels correct, but I think I might still have everything a little bit low there. Like, that chin is huge, and she is supposed to be tilting her head back here, looking up toward the sky, where all of the abducted hamburgers are going to be going. Alright. I think I have this a little bit too long, so let's pull that back just a little. So that this way I have enough room for this little strand coming out here, and all that. I actually do feel like I have the side hair too round here. I need to, like, do something like this, make it a little bit straighter through here. Same on this side. Okay. And then a little bit of that doing this stuff. I don't know. That's probably fine for now. Let's pick a shadow. Actually, I might want this on a different layer. Okay, let's do it. Okay. And then I'm gonna pick a shadow color here, so I'll just draw the whole thing in shadow for now, and I'll adjust it later. I think I want it to be a little darker than that, but not much. That should be fine. Plop a shadow, a couple of shadows in there. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So it's the top of her head where it comes out is like back here at this point. So I'll draw it like that just to kind of help me see. But then I will erase the top. We're going to see a little bit more of this underside here due to the angle. And then it'll just like swoop down. Something like that. Seems fine for now. I'm gonna roll with it. Okay. Let's go back to kind of figuring out the shape of the rest of this. So those pigtails are like about the same size of the body here. Or rather they go down to her knees. Okay, and there's also one little strand just sticking out right over here, so I'll get him in there. Just a little. And the pigtails, I think I will also draw in the shadow color. None of this quite feels right yet, but it's fine. I'll get it there. But I think it's on its way. The hair doesn't quite feel fluffy enough, especially, and I don't think it's just the pigtails. missing that's making me feel that way. It's like, man, if normal anime girls have tons of hair, Chibis are like that, but tenfold. So, I think that their body mass is probably at least 90% hair. And hello there, I keep debating if I should call you feline or felon. I feel like both are accurate. All right. Okay. Okay, well this looks incredibly silly. Let's get the pigtails. I'm trying to think of where I should put them because, like, I could either put them with the rest of the hair or I could make it so they fall behind the body. I guess it doesn't really matter. I could move them around if I need to. Because I think they're just gonna be, like, going off screen at this point, just due to sheer size. Maybe. But we'll see what I feel like doing. So I could definitely do something like that if I wanted. I'm not sure if I do. I want her to feel a little bit more stuck on the ground, and I think floating pigtails might actually take away from that. I probably will have them blowing in the wind a little bit, though. I'm just gonna draw them like that for now. Yeah, there's not much movement in that yet, but that's okay. I'm still figuring out where I'm going here. Okay. And if we're seeing her from below, let's start getting her clothes on. I think this ribbon will indeed cover the bottom part of her non-existent chin here. So let's see, the center of the ribbon, it's going to be covered by stuff, but I like to draw it like that. And let's see, if it's going to be covering her chin, I actually do need to put it up above the head. And it is just a normal ribbon, yes, yes. Let's see. No, I don't like that. Let's go back. That's how I draw a chin, or not a chin, a ribbon, if it was being viewed from above, or straight on. But if I'm drawing a ribbon that's being seen from below, how big are you? Okay. I want to do something a little bit more like this. I might need to grab a shadow color to do this properly. Oh yeah, there we go. That's pretty good. Maybe a little bit less extreme, but pretty good, I'd say. There we go. Let's pick a shadow color just so I can fill that in right now. I've been drawing a lot of silhouettes lately, and if I was making her a silhouette instead of this, then that's exactly how I would draw a ribbon in those circumstances. I had to look up who that is. I am less familiar with Spanish painters than I should be. Okay. Very, very generous for the stage that the picture is at. A little bit darker. Okay, I think that's good. There we go. And then I can have my ribbony shadows out here. Okay. And we got a ribbon. I will draw the little, like, brooch thingy on the middle of it later. And this side should be flatter. There we go. So I'm just gonna put all the ribbon parts in. I don't know what I want to do with the eyes yet. Like, I know she has a thing where they're, like, out of focus and looking in different directions a lot of the time, but I'm not sure if that suits the kind of mood I'm going for here, but right now, I guess just to put in my current thoughts. They're gonna, like, do something like this. Just looking up. I guess I don't mind making her look a little cross-eyed. That's probably actually fine. We'll see what I want to do. So I'll get the eye white and stuff in there. Just to keep this contained within her eyelashes. But yeah, it'll be something like that. And I mean, if you've watched a bunch of the early parts of, like, any drawing I do, at the beginning it's just always a mess. I just gotta get the stuff down, I gotta find the atmosphere that I like, and then I go from there. I actually think that the perspective on the pigtails is bad. I think I can use that for a lot of interesting things. I don't... no. I want to do one at a time. I think I could do a lot of interesting things with the pigtails here. And that don't necessarily involve her being just completely devoured by them. I mean, I guess that might be funny too, but... Alright. So let's see... This was why I wanted to get the secondary reference. These looked fairly similar, so I assumed that the gremlin model was somewhat based off of this one. Okay, so I think I understand what it's doing here. So it probably... It doesn't have the long puffy sleeves, I don't think, because that just looks like skin tone to me. So it's probably just the sleeveless version here, without gloves. Or without at least the arm part of the glove. The lower part is there. Okay. So we're gonna get something like this. And then there's gonna be the heart shape on her stomach instead of kind of on the chest. So probably, like, here. And again, I'll want to make that more perspective-y, but right now I just want to get it down. Oh yeah, and I should draw the ribbon tails too. They are a different color, which is surprising to me, but... It is true. And actually, the tails at this angle should be on top. Doing something like this. That's super messy, but it's fine for now. And then I think I'm going to have to move the arms a little bit, or either that or put them in front of the hair. This might actually be a rare case where I want the body layer on top of my head layer. I actually think I will adjust accordingly. So I will plop that down there so this way the arms can be on top. Which will also mean that I can keep the ribbon grouped together with the rest of the body, which is nice. Okay. Good enough for now. Let's put in the dress. Which will wrap around kind of this way. And then just fan out large. And I think it's all getting in there now. Yeah, it's starting to look a little bit more like the perspective I want. I'll put on the horns soonish. I think we only see a little bit of that blue trim. Okay, and then I want to get these, like, leaf things. I'm going to use the dark color for now and put in the gradient later. So they're going to start from the stomach and kind of go out like this, I guess. Okay, and that is probably fine for now. So I think I'm gonna skip the gloves for now. They're not really that important. You know what? I want to revisit the eyes just a little bit again. I just want to figure out the energy of everything. Do I just want her to look silly and cross-eyed? Perhaps. I'll see how I feel about that in 5 minutes. But it may not quite suit what I'm going for here. But whatever, it's funny for the time being. Just make things look even derpier than usual. It'll be fine. Alright. I want to make the dress a little bit wider. Okay. Okay. Push the head down just a little bit more here. And right now she still just looks way too happy, but it's okay. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and put in some of the mood lighting. And after that, I'm gonna see about drawing some, like, birds and squirrels and stuff, just taking all the burgers. So that'll be what I do there. Let's see here. So this is going to be, oh, I accidentally set the brush to multiply instead of the layer. Silly me. There it is. Like, why couldn't I find it? So I'll be doing something like this. Extreme rim light. Probably won't do as much lighting as I did on, like, Rudy's or something. I think that just being dark is fine. Alright, it's a start. Let's draw some animals. Okay. I'm gonna collapse my tree group. And let's see here. Where do I want to put everything? Where do I want to put everything? I think I'll just use solid black for now. And I want a couple of birds and or squirrels somewhat close to her. And then some further away. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. What do crows look like again? Because, I mean, if we're gonna do vaguely spooky birds, it's gotta be a crow, right? Okay. So, all I really gotta do, let's see. So I think I'll put one... I want one with the wing kind of overlapping her head. So I do want some foreground crows. And so I will call them that. So let's see. This one, I think we'll be going this way. I'll start with this first foreground crow. Like, I want the wing to be, like, overlapping her right about there. So how do I make that happen? What way does this bird have to be going in order to make that make sense? Because when I think about the way crows fly, it's like... whoosh, whoosh. With little feet. Right there. But I don't want it facing that way. I want it to be like... like that. But I don't want it to be doing, like, that level of acrobatics. So I guess it'll be, like, on the side a little bit. We got, like, the head here, body here. One wing coming this way. The other wing coming this way. Little feet. Make them a little bit bigger. Maybe the wing's not quite that large, but that's the idea. Okay, and I think I will adjust the perspective on him a little bit. I kind of want that wing at a slightly different angle there. I don't mind if it makes the head look a little bit long right now. I will fix it. It's fine. But yeah, I think something like that works. And then in its little talons, there will be a hamburger. I will put it underneath. There we go. Well, we'll just do it like that right now. It just looks like a bun for the moment, but it's fine. Okay. So now I should be able to just draw some of the rest of the birds. We'll let them, like, circle around. It's gonna be a very circular composition. Maybe another one over here a little. Put another wing just off screen here. And maybe another wing off screen over here. With... Okay. So we got some birds. Now I kind of want to put it in a squirrel. My father-in-law's been having a lot of problems with squirrels lately. He has a big pickup truck, and they keep eating the wiring, and he's very mad. You know, understandable. So there we go. There's a squirrel, and once again... all the birds will have one too, but I don't want to necessarily draw them all right now. Burger in the mouth. Oh yeah, it seems pretty terrible. So I'll put some in their talons here. I'll let this one kind of come off screen a little bit. Okay. And then at some point I'll probably draw some more squirrels further up. But I think that is the gist of what I want to do. So I'll have some moonlight filtering through the trees, and then there will be lots of birds, and she is just going to be reaching up for the crows. Okay, so next step. I want to fix the perspective in a few areas. I do feel kind of bad for my father-in-law. He's been having so many issues with that, and it is just so unfortunate. So unfortunate. Okay, and I think that the perspective is mostly working. I want to adjust the hair a little. So I'm just gonna grab my liquefy and bring it out. Start correcting some of the shapes there. See, I told you I'd get to it eventually. I always do. Sometimes it takes a second, but I just gotta get my thoughts down first. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. I'm still not sure if I like the location of all the birds and stuff yet, but it shows the initial inklings of the idea here. Okay. So the next two big things I really want to do. I want to play with the pigtails a little bit more. But I think before I can do that, I gotta fix the expression. Right now she looks too happy. She looks like she's playing with the birds. And no, my theme was depression, Chibidoki. Not playing with birds, Chibidoki. So, I gotta fix that. I think I'm actually gonna start with the eyebrows. Let's give her proper eyebrows now, as opposed to normal ones. Just make them extra sad here. There we go. That's a sad eyebrow. Okay. I'm still gonna leave them black, just for my own convenience. Now let's fix that mouth. There we go. That's better. It's amazing what just a little bit of such a small change can do for the entire thing. There. Okay, and I think I'm gonna change the shape of the eyes a little bit too. There, I kept it very, very close to on model here because I wanted to, but now... Oops. now it is time to actually get the kind of shapes that I want here. So we're gonna make the eyes just really, really sad. Really, really, really sad. There. And now I think we have the saddest Chibidoki, and I can go play with hair while having the right face. Man, look at those little stubby arms just doing their best. I am actually going to rotate them a little bit. I want them just going up there again, just doing their best. And I kind of want them to be a little bit stubbier. There we go. I keep drawing the hand backwards. There we go. I want this one to be going that way. Okay. So, nothing super visible yet. It's fine. It is. I'm going to adjust the hair a bit more, and now I can derp around with pigtails. I kinda want to give the hair some movement, like she's jumping. Just doing her best to reach everything flying away from her here. So let's see. How exactly do I want to go about that? Hello there, Jessica. Welcome. Actually, I should probably put her horns on first. Let's do that. Let's do that. So I think this blue will be a fine placeholder. I'll roll with that for now. Let me get rid of my foreground birds real quick. I am drawing Chibidoki. It's okay, you can call me what you want. As long as you're not intentionally being mean, it's all good. Where'd my horn layer go? There it is. Okay. Yes, I put out a call for people to give me some suggestions on some stuff to draw, and I got one response. So I am drawing that one. And thus, we are drawing Chibidoki being sad. Because that was the prompt. Well, did you have fun drawing? I hope so. Drawing's a good time. Okay, and I think I want this to be a little bit closer to her head here. Yeah, something like that. Oh, nice. Sounds like fun. Okay. And then on the other side... I just realized that I don't have her pigtails connecting at the same point, but that's probably fine for this stage. Good. Okay, sometimes it can be fun to draw easy things too. Yeah. Alright, so that's probably fine. Draw a little bit going down there. Yeah, fine for now. Let's see, what do I want to do with her pigtails? Because I don't think I want them, like, going upward. I think that would be a little bit too much. I'm actually going to clear this and... But I think something like this is probably appropriate. And then I'll draw some things that look a little bit bouncy. This is, again, a case where I started out very, very on model, and now it is time to break away from what she actually looks like and into the kind of energy I want things to have. Yeah, go for it. I'd love to see what you make. If you post it on, like, Twitter or Instagram or, like, any of the social media that I'm on with Planckera art, I will be able to find it. And I will definitely take a look. So I'm also trying to make it look like we're seeing the underside of the twin tails here. And let me see, my reference sheet, it's probably buried in everything right now, so let me grab you a more reliable link than the one on Twitter. At some point, I really should put it up there in an introduction post. I just haven't gotten around to it. There you go. This should have all the information you need. Okay, that's fine. This wasn't initially what I was going for, but I think it looks good, so I'm a roll with it. Okay, and I'll put the ribbons on it later. I don't really care about them right now. They're not going to help me figure out perspective, composition, or any of that stuff, so that's for later. Okay. Now I want to do something similar with just her regular hair. So I'm gonna draw some parts kind of flipping around upward and stuff. Make everything a little bit more hair-like. We'll curl this in her face just a little bit more. Get some loose strands doing some stuff, and I think that's probably good. Maybe just a little extra thing doing that. Okay. Yeah, that seems fine to me. Man, that background is gonna be something to render, though. Freaking trees, man. Okay, let me remember what things look like. I'm not gonna do it yet, but I just want to remember what things look like and what kind of things that maybe I want to put in the foreground. Because, like, you know, she's tiny, right? This is based on the gremlin model. She is tiny. So I want to have some, like, grasses and stuff at the bottom. So I'm deciding what's gonna go there. Because I think she's looking pretty good. I think that's about where I'm gonna leave that. And then, you know, just make it look nice later. So I just need to know what kind of things might be there. So probably just, you know, dirt and leaves and twigs and bushes and grass. I think I can probably do just about anything. Okay. But I always like to take a moment to think about it. And I want the crows to be on top, because that just makes more sense to me. I just linked you to it. So that link that is right above here, can you see it? If you can, that is a reference sheet, has full body, front, back, and side. And I think I'll just leave it black for now, and I will give it proper coloring a bit later. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll have it kind of going evenly across, and then maybe some bushes off on the side. So I'll just draw some leaves coming in. So something like that. Yep, that makes her look pretty far into the bushes and grass and stuff. Probably don't need that much more than this, actually. At some point I'll have to decide what colors I want those to be, but I think they're fine as black for now. This might be covering her hands a bit too much, though. So I think I'm gonna change the shape of this one. I don't really want it to cover her hands. The hands are too important. But I do want a little bit covering the side of her hair here. So that's actually going to be a little tricky. I don't know, maybe I should just stick with the grass then. I do feel like there needs to be something over on this side, though. Okay, let's... I actually kind of like that one. So maybe I can draw, like, a flower or something here, just... a couple of flowers. I don't know. No, I don't like it. I don't like it there either. Composition is hard. Put a little bit more grass there. Maybe a little bit of longer grass. All right. Excellent. I look forward to seeing it. You will be the first person that has ever drawn me, so I am very excited. Okay, I think that works. That might be all I need there, with maybe this little piece of grass just going a little bit further. This one too. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. So, just due to the nature of things, I do kind of want to finish rendering the foreground before I go on to her. Well, it's fine. I think... I'm trying to think of the right way to say this, but... I think people tend to be better at art than they think they are. But honestly, even if you're a beginner, just the amount of heart that can go into drawing fan art of people, I think will make it look good and be somewhat special regardless of, like, objective quality. It is a good way to show appreciation for your Oshi or just anyone that you think has a nice design or anyone that you just want to make their day a little bit better. Yeah, so I say, you know, don't worry about it. You are still going to be the first person that has ever drawn me, so I assure you, I am, I am extremely happy. I actually pretty deliberately tried to make my design fairly simple and easy to draw. Because I was hoping that it would encourage some beginner artists to attempt to draw me too. So, I actually put a lot of thought into such things. You can post it wherever you want. I do have an art tag for, like, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, but if you just post it on YouTube, just let me know when you have, because the YouTube is really bad about notifying me about mentions, so I might not notice it right away. So it's okay, just let me know. If I am off stream, you can comment on any video, and I will be able to find it. Life is hard. Words are hard too. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty good for the foreground. I guess I'll go ahead and render the grass, and then I'll pick a good color for it. I do like it rather dark like this, but solid black is a little bit too dark. So I'm gonna hide the bushes for a second, and I'm just gonna go in and smooth this out now, because I like where this is going. Yeah. I like where this is going, and I probably should make this crow a little bit bigger now that I look at it. Like, compositionally, what I had before, I think worked okay, but in terms of how big the character is supposed to be, I think that this will make her look super tiny, and I think that's what I want. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't cover the moon, though. Very important. Yep, just got a big old crow stealing her stuff. So, thank you. So let me kind of tame the wing a little bit here. So now it looks like she is almost the same size as this bird. And I might have to move around some crows after that. And I still want to make sure that the moon is shining through. I'd actually rather have the bird shining on the moonlight shining on the feet. So maybe I should do it like this. Yes, that makes more sense. Now that'll emphasize the burger that is being stolen a little bit better. Yeah. It's okay, you can ask me whatever you want. I am happy to answer any questions. Okay. Yeah, I like that better. So now the big point of contrast is going to be here on the bird's feet holding the burger that it is stealing, and the crow's wings will lead us right to her face. Just like this. And so I think that is perfect. Yeah, I like that better. Gonna hide the foreground for a second, and then... Oh, I just haven't drawn it yet. It's okay, bird head will come later. Okay, so now I just need to move some of these other birds around. I'm just gonna move this guy over here for a second, so this way I remember he exists. And I just want to make it look like they're kind of circling around. Hello there, Blood Bullet. Welcome. And thank you very much. Right now, I'm just figuring out the last bit of composition before I go in and start just rendering foreground stuff. I don't know where I want to put you yet. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Have fun. And don't worry, I am always honored to be drawing background music. So even if you're not chatting, you know, just listening, I think is still great. Let's see, I'm going to plop that one there for a second. I want to move this one here a little further down. One where we just kind of see the side of his wing. And that'll give me a little bit more time. Well, I mean, you could always try drawing while laying in bed. I don't think these things are necessarily mutually exclusive. All right, and this guy I'll send a little bit further this way. And then maybe I'll have some squirrels over there. And what about this one? I can move him. Oh no, I got two. Move him over here, maybe. Let's see, I think I still want to rotate this one a little bit more. Fair enough. The way these are ordered just still feels a little bit too perfect to me. I don't want them to be like in a perfect line. So I'm trying to figure out how to angle and place them in a way that makes me happy. While still make it look like that they are just kind of circling and running away with her food. It'll probably look more like that once I actually finish drawing everything, but it's okay. I just want to get the gist of it for now. So let's see. The burger's going to be the feet, so I do want it kind of facing that way. I'm not sure what that is. Oh no, you are on the bird layer. There we are. Okay. Maybe one way off here. Kind of on the other side of the tree. Yeah, that looks pretty okay. And then where's Mr. Squirrel? We're gonna have to move him probably to the other side here. There we go. Yeah, I think that works. And then I can put like another squirrel up here. So I'll have another little squirrel taking all her things up there, and maybe another one just over here. It'll be really, really small because it's running away. I'll plop another one up there. Okay, yeah, I think that works. And then once I make these trees look more like trees, then I think that'll get the idea across a little bit more. I think I'm going to move that bird's wing just a little bit more. I don't mind it overlapping with the squirrel, but the way it's currently overlapping is just not working. Okay. So I think I'll do it like that. So there we go. We got some birds and squirrels stealing all of Chibidoki's burgers. And I think, let me turn on my lighting layer. Oh, that's the bushes layer. Yep, I think this works for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and start rendering some grass. Well, I rendered that pretty fast. I wasn't sure exactly where I was going with it for a while, but I think I worked it all out. So here we go. Let's make it all look nice. I'm gonna start with the foreground. So just at the start here, I want to change the color of this at some point. I don't quite know what color I want it to be yet, so I'm just going to smooth it out in black. And from there, I will decide on colors. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. And that's kind of the nice thing about art, is that even if it takes a really long time to render things, it doesn't actually take that long to kind of figure out where you're going. So I think I've got all the atmosphere and stuff decided. I know the placement of like probably 90% of the stuff. So now it's just a matter of making it all look nice. But man, I just keep looking at a little face in the thumbnail. She really does just look so sad. All right. So I always like to take my time just smoothing things out and making sure that all the shapes are just how I want them to be. So Rendering does tend to be a bit time consuming, but it does make everything look really nice. So there we go. I want to get that to taper into a nice tip. And there we go. And man, this little piece of grass just looks like the saddest piece of grass ever. Let's smooth that out and get rid of all of those terrible blobs. We don't want sad, wrinkly grass here, just normal grass. There we go. It's already looking so much happier now. No longer just wrinkly. Like its poor little cell walls are just collapsing all over the side. There we go. Okay, and this, I want to have it curve a little bit more. It looks like I kind of was drawing a blade of grass like that, but, you know, I don't think it's quite working for me, so I'm just going to change the shape of this a little bit, and hopefully, I don't know, make it a little bit more interesting to look at. I might not fully shade the grass here before I do Chibi over there, but I do kind of want to know where it's going to be living, so that this way I know which parts of her I don't have to render quite as thoroughly. It's good information to have. It saves me some time. This way, you know, you can see a lot of like the bottom of the pigtail is covered here. So I know that I do not have to render anything at the bottom of that pigtail at this point. Or at least not as much. Because I know it will be covered by grass, and therefore making it super detailed would just be a waste of time. Just how it goes. So that is why I like to start with the foreground first. I work in like the exact opposite way of a traditional painter, where they have to do everything from the back first because it's annoying to go and paint backgrounds when you already have stuff further forward. Whereas for me, it's actually easier. The joy of layers in digital. Layers make everything better. Oh dear. I feel like I should be concerned. You're not gonna go eat grass, are you? I guess if you are, then, you know, go with the spinach. That's, like, basically grass. Delicious little leaves. Okay. Alright, so all of that's looking pretty smooth now. Looks like I'm about halfway through. And then it'll be time to get some bushes. Ah, I see. terrifying. It's okay. Nighttime is a good time to be lazy. Because I don't know, I think that laziness is what will help us wind down to sleep. I'm glad I was able to draw most of this grass in like a single stroke. It definitely makes it a lot easier to go back and render it all. Because most of it, I don't really have to change all that much. Some of it I do. Like, I don't like the tip on this one, for example, so I'm going to go and fix that. But for a lot of these, it's like I don't have that much work to do at all. Just all here, all ready. There is not that much sad grass here. The trees in the background are going to be something else, though. I'm still not sure how I'm going to go about that. But it's alright. I will figure it out when the time comes. The background will probably be like the last thing I do. That tends to be how it goes. Since I do like to start with all the things that are on top. Okay, and I think the rest looks fine, so there we go. We got grass. Let's go ahead and render the bushes. Since I do have a couple. I don't know, do I like you with the crow there now? Maybe I'll add another leaf over here, too. And cover part of the squirrel. I think I'm gonna lower this group. Just kind of like right here. Something like that, maybe. And I think a lot of this is going to be blurred. I probably didn't need to get it that refined then. You know, I should have thought about that before I just did all that, but oh well. How does it look blurred anyway? Let me take a look. Alright, time to lag Krita and put a filter layer with a bunch of blur on it. I don't think I actually like it on the grass, but I do kind of like it on the leaves. So maybe what I actually want is something like that. I might put a slightly weaker blur on the grass. I'm debating with myself. It's okay, this is the perfect time for some science. Just gotta test some things out and see what I think works. So I'm gonna zoom out a little. Make sure I can see the whole thing. And go from there. No, I think the blur probably does look good on the grass, actually. Basically, by putting parts of this foreground out of focus like this, I can bring more attention to the character. And that's what I want. Especially since that the main reason that the grass even exists at all is just to make her look small. Okay. And now I think I can... Yeah. Okay. Swallow 20. There we go. But now that I have that, I think I can design the leaves to be a little bit more what I want. I see. Oh, that's always a little sad. But as long as you had fun doing it, I'm sure that it was still worth it. So there we go. Get a few leaves in there, here and there. Okay, yeah, I think that's about all I need to do there. I would like to change the color now, though. But I do want it to be pretty dark, so I'm just going to use hue saturation. Just hit Control U on the keyboard. Unfortunately, OBS does not capture the windows, so you'll just see the color changing. I think I want it to be a little bit bluer than your old average grass. I think that makes sense for the composition here. So I'm going to leave it more in the blues than I otherwise would. So I think right around there. Let's see, 168, 61.5. I will do the same thing on here. Oh wait, that's the wrong layer. Whoops. I meant to do it on the bushes, not the blur layer. So there, somewhere around there, and then I think I'm just going to lightly brush in some of the foreground, or some of the light from the moon here on certain parts. Very, very lightly. It doesn't need that much going on here. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the filter for just a sec, so this way I can actually see where the grass is, since it is both very, very dark and very blurred. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna do the same on the bushes. Just a little bit of light to help separate the leaves a little bit. And just make everything look a little bit nicer. There we go. I think that's good. So I think that that's that part of the foreground done. I could draw a bird right now, but I kind of don't feel like it. So I'm gonna go work on her head here. So I'm actually gonna hide the foreground for a bit. And I'm just gonna jump right into getting all the colors and stuff on her body and clothes and whatnot, all looking good. So I just want to spend a little bit of time on her today. Let's see, do I want that kind of shadow? No, I don't think so. I think I want it to look... I want her face to look a little bit more innocent, and having the shadow go all the way across there, well, maybe it would make her look a little bit more freaked out. I think it makes her a little bit less cute. And the cute, I think, is more important here. Okay. Then where's that body layer? I would like to make her arms light. There we go. Okay, now I think I'll start breaking up the hair. I've got my shadow color and my lighter color, and I think I'm going to need another shadow color for, you know, some of the hair back here. But I'll start with the front hair real quick. Just kind of get the basics of where I think the shadows in her hair are going to go. And I don't mind if it melds with the ahoge a little. That's fine. I'll fix it later. And up there is going to be bright because that's the point that is directly facing the light source, so I won't put any shadow over there. And there will be lots of shadow down here around her arms. Lots and lots. Hair is hard. I mean, especially if you were drawing the anime. The anime girls are like, you know, at least 50% hair. So there's a lot going on. Okay, it just takes practice. Alright, and I think that this is a fine for a start. I think I'll put this one in shadow as well. And probably just all of this. So currently we can't see a lot of things because I need another shadow color for her twin tails here. So let's grab that. And I'll also put in some light on the twin tails. Alas. Well. Good luck. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe how to get hair, but I mean, a lot of it just depends on what you want it to look like. But for the animes, at least, I do think that it is easier to think of it less as hair and more of just a big structure. And then shade it like, you know, anything else. Okay, so I hate this. I'm gonna fix that right away. I'm just gonna make this poof out a little bit more. There we go. Same with down here. No tangents allowed. I'm just gonna swirl this a little bit more. Yeah. So if you see how I'm kind of dividing it up here, where I'm like, okay, I drew a strand here, so that means that there's going to be a shadow cast by it, like right there. And then I can just add a few other lines in various places where it makes sense. Okay, and I do want some lighter points here. I am! Hello there, Elmay. Welcome. Alright, so I want this hair to be in front of this area here, so I'm putting the light up there and then putting a shadow here. And I'll just be doing that repeatedly. I want all of that to be shadowed. And this will be in the light here. I don't actually want her pigtails to be darker than the rest of her hair. I just had it that way so this way I could see what I was doing while I was figuring out the rest of the composition. But now I know everything, so I can go and do things, and it is fantastic. Put a little dark spot right there too, because I can. So now I am ready. And at this point, I'm just going through and figuring out where I want some of these colors to exist. Everything else doesn't really matter right now. That's why everything's going to be messy for a bit. But that's okay. Everything starts out a little bit messy for a while. Just how it is. So I'll plop in some shadows there to separate the Ahoge from the rest of her. Okay. And yeah, I guess it's time to get started on the other twin tail here. So my light source is going to be coming from this moon above. I'm going to let the light kind of filter through the trees, and I'll add that effect later. I want to... I don't want to deal with a million different things at once. That's dangerous and hard, so why would I make my life harder when I can make it easy and just do a bunch of mood lighting at the end? That's how I like to work. And it works quite well for me, so I'm gonna keep doing it like that. Okay, and I think I'll just let that entire bottom part be in shadow. And then I can add a little bit of shadow color here to make this turn a little bit more, and then just some other ones coming through here to bring out the hair texture. My nose is super stuffy for some reason. All right, there we go. I think that's good for the basics of hair. Just deciding what I want to do next. But I think I'm going to go ahead and color her eyelashes and eyebrows here. I like to use dark colors from the hair to do that instead of just leaving them solid black. I might make the eyelashes a little bit darker than that though, just because on her model they are indeed solid black. I think that's pretty good though. I might do the same for the eyebrows actually. No, I'm not going to do the same for the eyebrows. This color is fine. And then I will add, like, something like this. Okay. Yeah, that seems good to me. The eyes is very much, it is not yet time. So they will be staying like that for a little while longer. And I think I want the inside of this ribbon to be a little bit darker. I'm also thinking about the hair a little bit more. Like, do I want to add a lighter color on there or just highlights? I'll worry about it in a second. I want to get the ribbon. So here we go. This is the point where I'm probably going to start jumping around a lot. This is where I am finalizing a lot of choices. And I tend to work on them as it comes to me. Don't need to worry about it too strongly. Here I definitely want some highlights though. So I will plop some in. Normally I like to work within yellows for my highlights, but might make more sense to work in blues this time, since my light source is blue. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. We'll just plop some little highlights here and make the ribbon look nice and shiny. Yeah, I think that's good. I kind of want to shape the little tails coming out of it, and I guess I should also draw her heart-shaped brooch at this point. Actually, I should do that first. So it's gold, right? With a blue gem? Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, and it's got little horns on it. That's cute. I didn't notice them until I zoomed in. Okay. I can't draw hearts to save my life, so I'm going to let the symmetry tool help me out here. Boop. This little boop on the little horns there. There we go. And I guess while I'm here, I will make it smooth, just so I don't have to worry about the symmetry tool again. Anytime I do symmetry, I do tend to smooth it out a little bit more quickly. I always say, you never truly know what something looks like until you go and try to draw it. Okay, I need to make this, like, way fatter than I currently am. So, whoop. But yes, you never truly know what something looks like until you try to draw it. You'll notice so many more things. Your brain is just a lying liar and takes so many shortcuts to do what it does. Helps you out in daily life, but it's terrible for drawing. Okay, yeah, I think that'll be good. And then I'll go ahead and just fully shade this so I can just keep it symmetrical. That'll make my life easy, I think. And I am pretty dang close to knowing what all this stuff looks like anyway. This is maybe slightly dangerous technology, but I actually trust myself here, so I think it'll be fine. Let me see, the horns don't have their own little... Yeah. They do not have their own little bit of shadow here. Oh, I don't have the layer locked. So the reason that I'm calling this dangerous technology is because I am just now starting to finalize where everything is going to go, and I might be using transform tools to get everything into place. And if I were to use transform tools on this, it would make it blurry. And if I have it fully rendered, then that would mean that I have to kind of go back and render things again if I make it blurry. So it is dangerous to do, but I do think it is worth it in this case, just so I don't have to finagle the symmetry again. So I am taking the risk. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. That's why I say I kind of trust myself here. So I think it will be fine. And if it's not fine, my future self will suffer a little bit later, and that's fine too. Don't worry, she's tough. She can take it. All right. So I'm thinking about which other areas that we see the side of. But I don't actually think there are any. Like, I don't think it makes sense for me to put a shadow there, does it? No, that actually does look pretty good. Okay. So I guess we slightly see the inside of this. And that does make sense. It does make some sense. I already know that I am going to have to transform this a little bit in order to get the perspective right. So I will be using the perspective transform, so I will probably have to clean it up a little bit afterward. But that's fine. That's okay. I can manage it. Yes. Well, I mean, it's not going to go there. It's going to contrast a little bit more on the ribbon, but I guess it actually probably will be against her skin, huh? Just because her chin, it does not exist. Okay, there we go. And it doesn't look like the gem on this is that shiny. It's looking like a rounded gem to me as opposed to a more cut gem, if that makes sense. Like how you typically picture a diamond. So I think I'm actually just going to do the entire thing on the same layer. More dangerous technology, but I don't mind. Alright, let's pick a shadow color here. Does this look okay? It's a little choppy around the edge, but that's a pretty normal. You know what, if it's that choppy around the edge, I should do it on a different layer. Don't be lazy, Planckera. Let's go. Anime magic. Don't underestimate its power. Alright, and now that it's on a different layer, I can actually make this shadow part just a little bit thinner and make it look a little bit more three-dimensional that way. I want it to exist a little bit. But maybe not that much. So I'm just getting rid of the little bit of choppiness from the selection here and making sure that the gem is covering all the places I want it to be. And now I can make it shiny. So in order to make something shiny, the shadows are actually almost as important as the highlights. Almost. Like, that one big specular highlight at the end will make all the difference, but the shadows are still important. Oops. You are not normal. Here we are. The shadows are still very, very important. And you gotta respect them, because light and art cannot exist without the dark. If you want to make something look bright, the rest of the area around it has to look dark, otherwise it doesn't work. Otherwise everything just looks bright, and then the brights just become a mid-tone. So you gotta have those dark areas in order to make it work. Alright, and then I'm gonna add just a slight highlight. So this is not going to be a very strong highlight here. This is not going to be the specular. This is just a little bit of extra light to show that it is a little bit raised around here. That's kind of the impression I got when looking at this. And it's just like raised around the middle here. Okay. And now I can pick a real highlight. Oh, wait, I had that. Well, whatever. I think it still looks fine with this color, so I'll roll with it. But now I can pick a real color for the specular. And now things are going to be shiny. No, normal. Stop going back to overlay. There. Okay, I'm gonna put the specular on a new layer that's pretty normal for me, and I'm realizing that because I had my brush the wrong blend mode, this probably looks weird. I'll fix it in a second. I want to do the specular highlight. I want to have some fun. Okay, I can fix it now. Too many colors in there. There we go. I don't like that color. Let me make it nicer. Just a little bit lighter. A little bit less blue. Okay. So I think I'll handle this like I do specular highlights in the eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and blur the edge just a little. Makes it look a little bit brighter. And then I want another layer with a little bit of color. So I'm going to blur it just a little bit more than I did the other one. And then I'm going to make it the opposite color to what I had here. So if this is blue, I probably want it somewhere in the oranges. Oranges and yellows. And I think it just makes things look a little bit shinier. So there we go. Okay, let's get that on the ribbon now. I intentionally drew it a little bit bigger than what I would need, so that this way I could very easily just adjust the perspective a little and push it into place. Trying to get this line to be a little bit straighter. Unfortunately, Krita's perspective tool doesn't let you mirror things perfectly, so gotta be careful with it. So I think right about there. And it's still a little bit big, so I'm just gonna scale it down just a little. There! And I think that has all the perspective I want on it too. So there we go, just randomly fully rendered something. Why not? Anyway, so now I can go back to figuring out the rest of the things. And the main thing, reason I wanted that was just because I wanted to know how this ribbon would be sitting underneath. So let's get rid of the tails here, and I should have a better idea of how this whole thing is just sitting under here. How it all connects and where the tails should come out. So I just want to get these dark parts in. All right. That looks pretty good to me, so now let's figure out where the little tails go. I don't like them at all, so I'm going to kill them, and now I can make them look better. So there, it's just a normal ribbon, right? It is. Just a normal ribbon. So I don't have to do anything special, but this one is already doing much better than the last. It knows that if it doesn't work for me, I will not hesitate to kill it and start over. Alright. So I want to make the little dent there a little bit shallower. I'll let it flow off her body completely there. And there we go. Do I have shadows picked for that color yet? No, because it's not quite the same color as the hair. It's a little bit different. So let's go ahead and pick a shadow color for it. I always just like to mix colors directly. It makes me happy. So I just set my brush to overlay and pick colors that way. It works for me. So there we go, something like that. And maybe just a little shadow right here for a little extra three-dimensional effect there. And I think that about does it. I don't think this ribbon needs a bunch of shadows and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to start putting together the skirt. I'm actually going to do that before her shirt area. And the gloves I will actually not do until I have basically rendered most of her hands. Or until I'm ready to render her hands, I should say. So I think all I'm going to do for the gloves for now is I'm going to change her hands to be white. Yeah, it's the same color as the shirt, so there we go. That's all I'm going to do for now. Her hands are now gloved, and when it comes time to add the gloves proper and all the little frilly parts, I will do that then. But I don't really want to do that until it is time to draw those, and I don't want to draw hands right now. I'm going to do that later. I'm going to do that once it's time for everything to be rendered. Right now, I'm just feeling out colors. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the trim for now. I will add it on its own layer, I think. And I'm going to work out where all the folds are. This does look like it's supposed to be a bit of a ruffled dress. It's just done in a very minimalist way, so none of that was drawn. So I will add my own folds. Looks good to me. Okay. Let's get this, I don't know, weird toothpaste color and put in a few areas that I think the trim will show. Just putting all these into a layer group, so this way I can lock transparency there and just plop some stuff on. There we go. I think that's about all we see. And I don't think we see any of the pink ruffles below. I guess I could raise her a little bit, but no, I think I like it like this. Just like a little bit below that point where I'm having all the trees converge. That makes sense to me, so I think I'm going to keep it like that. And now we can take this other toothpaste color and plop in these little leafy things. I think that these will do a very good job of showing some perspective for me, so I'm being very particular about their shape. It doesn't quite match how flat they are on her right now. I will adjust that, but I really do want them to look like they're kind of being viewed from below. That perhaps the viewer is even smaller than Chibi herself. So I like keeping in mind that kind of perspective. I think it just makes everything around here look so much bigger when you do a worm's eye view perspective like this. Like the viewer is just a tiny little worm crawling on the ground. And I'm not exactly sure how this tucks into her dress, so I'm just kind of making it up. I think it's fine to make it up here. Okay, I think that works. So let's go ahead and pick a shadow color. Oops. Nice. Do you have it posted? I don't think I want the shadow to be that dark. Alright, will do. And then maybe just like a little fold right there. It'll make it look a little bit leaf-like as well. I don't know, when I look at this, it just looks like a leaf to me. So... okay. And now I can get into the little white shirt here. It's like all the ruffles on the sleeve are covered up by ribbon. So, I should have a pretty easy time. I think I'm just gonna freehand the little heart here. I want to make sure that it kind of matches what she had going on in her model there. And it is like placed right between the little ribbons there, so I want to put it in the same spot. Is that about the right size? I think so. And then there's just like the little collar right there. So I think that is accurate. I just want the heart to be a little bit more perspective-y, so I'm gonna use my good old friend, the Perspective Transform, to help me out with that. I think that's pretty good. And I do want it to be a little bit further down, where part of it is covered up by the dress. I need a better selection than that. There we go. Okay, and then I think I just want it to be a little bit bigger. There. I think that's about where I want it. So let's go ahead and go back to the body layer. I do need to give the dress some shadows, but I want to put some light right there. I think that is perfect. So let's go ahead and give the shirt some shadows now. Maybe somewhere around here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Most of it's going to be in shadow, honestly, but there are a few parts maybe that aren't. Probably just around the stomach here. Yep, that looks pretty good. Okay. Just let me know when it's ready. Okay, I think I'm going to do a little bit more on the dress here. I think I just want a little bit of shadow on the side here, which will also mean that the trim needs a little bit of shadow too. There we go. And then there also needs to be a little bit of cast shadow from the leaf thing. So there we go. Alright, yeah, this should look pretty good once I get around to rendering it, so let's go ahead and put in the grass. I got another 30 minutes or so here, so I have to decide, do I want to draw a bird, or do I want to get started on the face? I mean, strictly speaking, the choice is obvious. I want to get started on the face. But the bird is covering a lot of stuff on the hair, so I should probably do that first. You know what? I've done a lot today. I'm feeling good. I'm gonna start with the bird. I want a little bit more of this hair to show here, so I'm going to adjust the wings accordingly. While the rest of the foreground is very blurred, I don't want to blur this bird too much. It has a very important purpose of helping the viewer understand what's going on here. Alright. I will be sure to take a look after stream. So give me just a little bit there, and I will definitely go and watch it. Okay. What do crows look like again? I think I'm just gonna draw the silhouette in black for now. And I will worry about the rest of the details later. This guy is gonna need some details. I can't just get away with leaving him as the silhouette like I could for the grass. What do their wings do? I always want to draw bird wings with a nice curve like this, but they never actually do that. They're a lot more straight. Let's see. And then kind of out on the ends, kind of got some feathers going on. Aw. That's okay. If you ever want to try that again, feel free. It sounds very adorable. So I'm not worried about drawing a realistic crow, but I do want to get some of the feather shapes correct. Because it'll make it look a little bit more crow-like. And then I can add some feather shapes just down at the bottom here. But I'm going to do that a little bit later. Alright, sounds good to me. I do not think that the structure of this bird... I do not think that the structure of this bird is quite refined enough for me to start putting other small details on. And you know, I'm glad to hear it. Drawing is a good time. This world needs more cool things, so I think everyone should go out and make some cool things. Okay, looking at it, silhouette of a crow actually has like no body. It just goes right into the tail feathers. Kind of want to show its little feet though, so I gotta be careful with what I'm doing here. So let's see, what do little crow feet look like? It's okay, I think it's a natural feeling after drawing for a while to get a little bit sleepy. But you did something good. There we go, we got some little crow feet here. I think that's probably fine. And now I probably want this to be looking a little bit more like a burger now. So we got that. I'll put the bottom bun like here. And then there could be like a patty. I have never actually watched Chibidoki. I just put out a thing for, hey, give me a VTuber, a mood, and a location, and I'll randomize everything I get and draw that. And I got one response, and it was Chibidoki, depression, and deep in the woods. So, thus, this. But you know what? I'm pretty okay with it. I'm having a good time drawing this one. I was right that just trying to get something a little bit more randomized would get me out of drawing the things that I normally draw and into something a little bit different. Okay, I think that looks pretty burger-like. I'll shade it properly in a bit, but I think that's a pretty good start. And bird's got little feet, so it should look like it is just carrying it away. And I can draw some little shadows this way, so little talons can be getting into the bun. And don't ask me how it's all sticking together, it doesn't matter. Bird magic, okay? Okay. I think I have been good enough for today, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started on just rendering her. I'll keep the foreground on, just because I have a general idea of what's going to be covered and what's not going to be covered. And whenever I start rendering the face, I always start with the hair, just because anime hair covers a lot of the character's face. eyebrows are kind of in the way at the moment, so I'm gonna hide those for just a little bit so that this way I can clearly see what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and smooth out and refine all the shapes of the hair here. First episode and I'm already getting into rendering hair. Not bad for me. So I'm just gonna take my time. And actually, you know, since I don't think I'll be able to completely smooth out all this hair today... Jessica, how do you feel about showing your video on stream? Because I could just pull that up right now if you'd like. Let's see, what does her side hair look like anyway? So we got the little bit just kind of swooping down there, and then another bit just swooping down like that. But yeah, since I've probably reached the limit of the stuff that I can finish today, if you'd like, I can indeed just pull the video up and we can all watch it together. If you're okay with that. Understandable. I just don't want to do it without permission. So I figured I'd ask, since I have a second here. But if not, I will just render as much hair as I can. I can get this edge nice and smooth. There we go. Oh no. Well, it's okay. I think what I do is good for falling asleep to. You got the nice piano music in the background, and I am not a super high energy person. I'm not worried about matching the colors that I put down before. I just want to make sure that I have the edge nice and smooth, so that this way I can lock the layers and... so I can lock the layers and just smooth it out without fear of coloring outside the lines. Actually, you know, for this one, I should probably render the body first, but I want to render the face. I always like doing the face first. Because when I have the character able to look over at me, I just always feel better. It makes it so much more pleasant to work on the rest of the picture once I have something cute staring back at me. So I'll just gently put stuff in all the strands here. And make sure that there are no blobs, because you definitely don't want your hair to be blobby. So I just want to get that little curl just absolutely perfect. You can never underestimate the power of a cute little curl. They also make so many things better. All right, there we go. That's looking pretty good now. I might still do a little bit to flip this hair around with some loose strands at the end, but I typically do that after I do all my major shading. I just think it's easier to do it in that order. Okay. Okay, so just a little bit here. Again, just really going hard on the cute little curl. Very important. Okay, well, I think that's it for the front hair there. I'll probably do the twin tails a little bit later. Nah. I'll do them now. I'll go ahead and do it all now. Let's see. Is that part of this, or is that just... Okay, that's just a little piece of hair. I actually do care about what the top of this looks like. I almost forgot. But, yeah, the top of her hair here should all be smoothed because the ahoge is behind her head, not in front. I just have to put it on top of my layer stack there because it sits on top of the hair, but this back part is behind it. So I gotta erase that. And now I can smooth it. I think I want this part to be a little bit thinner down there. And like right here too. There we go. I think that looks better. I'm going to invert the color for just a second here. Just give myself an idea of where I need to draw. Most of this is covered by bird, but for the sake of the parts that aren't, I should know where it's going. And sometimes it is just easier to draw things without the other parts showing. There we go. I think that is sufficiently smoothed. Let's go ahead and grab her pigtails while I'm here. Before I fully render them, I probably will do the horns. But I want to do the front hair before I do the horns. So, that's fine. We'll just... Well, like I said, render as much hair as possible right now. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. I was like, wait, why is this drawing on top of the horns? At least I noticed quickly this time. It's always a shame when I don't. And I end up doing a lot of drawing and I'm like, oh no. Oh no. I drew on the wrong layer again. Happens all the time. So I just want these to taper off into pretty nice little triangles here. I'm also realizing that most of the pigtails are covered up by stuff, so I probably don't actually have that much to render. I might actually be able to finish them in the next 10 minutes or so. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, because all of that is like covered up. I'll make this a little bit thicker through here, but like that's all fine. Here I got a smooth. Lots of smooth. But it's kind of disappearing into nothing. I actually want to hide the foreground for a second there because I don't quite like the way it's tapering and I can kind of see it. So, I can kind of see it through the blurriness. So I want to make sure it's all good. Alright, there's those little curls. I think that they are looking pretty good. This one, however, definitely needs a little bit of work. I think I'm actually going to make it shorter, too. Okay. I think that curve is looking fine, and yeah, there we go. So, they were a lot easier than I expected, just because there weren't actually that many edges. Alright, so I think that this is probably where I will stop for today, so I think order of business for next time is going to be to draw this crow, and then we'll draw her hair, and then we'll draw her face, and I guess while I'm drawing the hair I'll also draw the horns, but yes, next time hopefully I will be able to get into the face, but you know, knowing my cadence, I'm probably going to spend the entire next episode drawing hair. That's just how it goes when you draw the anime girls. They are like at least half hair. And in her case, because it's a chibi here, she's probably like 90% hair. Just looking at this, I'm like, okay, we're maybe 90% hair, 5% face, 5% ribbon. Maybe 3% ribbon, 2% everything else. So, there we go. So we will continue the saddest Chibidoki on Wednesday. Yes. So, since there were a lot of new people here, I do stream every day. I just draw 2 different pictures depending on the day. And today was getting started on this one. So tomorrow I will be back at the same time. And the next day, and the next day. But I will be stopping here for today, so thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.